What is good with y'all, man? So today's video, we're gonna basically talking about abilities in Madden as a whole. In Madden 24, there's gonna be changes being made, to abilities, the way things work. Like let's run it back a little bit, right? Let's go back to Madden 20. Now, actually, let's run it back before that. Like, abilities have been in Madden. Like, a lot of people, they always say, just take abilities out of Madden. The thing is, abilities have been in Madden. Like, I remember the first month I played, right? It was Madden 18. I remember it. They had abilities in it, but it wasn't like how it was now. It had to where you can individually put certain abilities on guys. Like, the card would come with some type of ability. If you played the older Maddens, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then I ain't gonna lie, you just won't know. But at Madden 20, that was like the first Madden when they first introduced like being able to put certain abilities on guys like that. Now, it wasn't like how it was now. In Madden 20, it was basically you got three guys you could put abilities on. Now, you could put whatever you wanted on them, but for both sides of the ball, you can only put abilities on 3 guys. Then in 21, they introduced the AP system, which I thought was a good AP system. I thought that had some of the best balanced AP, I would say. 22 is pretty decent too with the balanced AP. I would just say the honestly that game is a whole different story. But 23, I don't know. I think they went out of control with it this year, and there's just a lot of problems. Now, Madden 22, we should have knew that 23, there should have been some red flags, because in Madden 22, there was a couple players where they introduced 0 AP abilities, which at the time we didn't really think much about it, because there was only a couple players, and it was also kind of later in the year. In 23, they decided to make that kind of the whole motto. My whole problem with how they did it this year really is the fact that some guys could have archetypes mean nothing, right? Archetypes this year mean nothing. In the past, how abilities work, archetypes, based on your archetype, it would basically depend when a guy would get an ability, how much it would cost, and things like that, right? This year, the archetypes mean nothing, right? For example, let's say 2 new cards come out tomorrow. They're both 98 overalls, and they're both deep threat archetypes. One guy gets short out elite for 0, route tech for 1, stuff like that. The other guy gets deep out elite for 0, deep in elite for 0. Totally different AP discounts, same overall, same archetype. It just depends what EA wants to give them for abilities, and that's not what I like. I feel like it shouldn't be up to, we have to rely on EA to hopefully give a guy we want the AP. I feel like it should go back to the way of how, where if a guy's archetype is deep threat, okay, this is what he's gonna get, and things like that. You know what I mean? I just don't really like how it was pretty much completely random this year. I don't like that. And that pretty much brings me to my point where maybe in Madden 24, we should just get rid of abilities. Now, I'm probably one of the few people that you're going to hear say, well, it's a 50-50 bag. You got some people that say they like abilities in Madden. The other half say they got to go, which they've been in the game forever, so you know what I mean? But I actually like them, and the reason why I do is because abilities allow you to have so many different playstyles. You combining different abilities and the different combinations you could do allow you to run different offenses. They allow you to run different defenses. And without abilities and being able to do all this different stuff with them, the game would get a little dry, it would get a little boring. The gameplay would die out a little bit faster because there wouldn't be a lot of diversity with it. Now, what I think they could do if they were to actually, get rid of abilities is make attributes matter more. So what I mean by this is, let's say, for example, your quarterback has 95 throw power. A quarterback with 95 throw power is basically, let's say he unlocks like built-in gunslinger or something, right? His release automatically, he gets the ball out faster and things like that. Make it to where attributes kind of matter more. For example, let's say a receiver has 95 deep route run or something like that, right? His animations that he gets on deep post routes and just streaks and things like that are going to be way better than somebody with a guy with 90 deep route running. Now, it's kind of like that now, but not really, because abilities, it's all about the abilities. Like, the actual attributes don't really matter, to be honest. This is why actually a lot of people enjoy the beginning of so much, because there's not that much abilities. It's just a bunch of guys out there with a bunch of low overall cards, and there's not a lot of abilities, and it's just you kind of having to make plays, and attributes matter a little bit more, like regs and CFM and stuff like that, franchise, right? attributes matter a little bit more because there's not 1,000 abilities running around out there. In MUT, it's about abilities. The attributes just really don't matter, man. Perfect world would be, you know, if EA was just able to balance out the abilities. Because like I said, me personally, I actually like abilities. I would like them to be able to work out if they were just balanced. Like, the biggest thing this year was KOs are out of control. Now, I think KOs should be in the game, but they need to get toned down. For example, let's say you pressure DBs on my receiver and he wins on a streak and he gets, you know, a step or two ahead on the DB. If I perfectly throw the ball over top of the DB's head right into my receiver's arms to where he's catching this thing like this, and your DB, you know, slaps him on the thigh and his KO breaks it up. See, that just doesn't make sense to me. I feel like KO should work in a sense to where when the ball's in the air and they're catching and they're contesting the receiver, that's how it should be broken up. When the receiver's already running with the ball, it just shouldn't be broken up, man. That's where the bouncing of the KOs needs to come in, and they got to find something out with that. EA is most likely probably never going to be able to properly balance out the abilities in the game. So that's why I personally think in Madden 24, abilities should probably just go, man. Like, honestly, and just try to make it to where like I said before, where the stats and the attributes matter more, to where guys get to certain stuff, and you know what I mean, stuff like that, because these things are never going to get balanced. It's something pretty much every single year. Now, what they could do is maybe on both sides of the ball, you get five X factors, and now they don't start on, God forbid. If we have X factors starting on next year again, man, like, I don't understand with these idiots, man. Like, well, what makes them think that's good? It's just not. That's got to stop. But what I was gonna say was 5 X factors for offense and defense, and basically it'll be the same way like how it is now at X factors. You got to do certain objectives with that player in order to get them. I'd be fine with that, but man, they might just have to go next year, man. Because after this year, it was some wild stuff, man. I mean, literally, I literally probably have 30 abilities on both sides of the ball. I mean, that's insane, man. That's just flat out absurd. Honestly, though, I don't know. You guys let me know down in the comments. What do you guys think, man? Are you team abilities? Are you team no abilities? Do you want to see them back in 24? You guys just let me know. What do you think down in the comments? Me personally, man, I think let's get 5 X factors on the side of the balls. Call it a day. Make it to where if you get your attributes are at a certain stat, like 90 or 95, they unlock, you know, just certain different animations, things like that. I'd be fine with that. Let me know what you guys think. That is pretty much gonna do it though, boys. Like, comment, subscribe, man, and your boy is out.